Recording has started. Now I'll start sharing my screen. Guys, you can see my screen, right? Okay, cool. So I'll just open up the CSS का folder. एक minute. CSS का folder कहाँ गया? This one. Now let's run this app again. Like I always say, if you have that extension called live server, just install the extension and just go to go live here, or again go to view and command palette and live server, search for live server and just click on open with live server, and then it'll open the app. You have all of these things. So I think the last thing we spoke about yesterday was the combinators, correct? Yes, the last thing we spoke about was the combinators, correct? Okay. So today we will talk about this topic called CSS specificity. I had mentioned this yesterday. We're going to talk about this today. Like, what is this exactly? Like, let's say if you're trying to target the same element in multiple different ways, which one will win? Okay, like for example, let's say I have only one element right now. And in this element, let's say, so I have a class 1, and I also have an ID here, and that is 2. Now I can target this element in 3 different ways, right? Like for now, at least. I can target it directly by the type selector by choosing this, and let's say the color red. And then if I try to target by the class name, which is 1, so I say .1, and the color will be green. No, अभी तक मैंने I've not saved the file, तो changes अभी reflect नहीं होंगे because I've not saved the file yet. अभी उसके लिए without saving I'll just go on, and I will target the same element with the ID also. So let's say कि मैं ID की तरह ऐसा like 2 I'll say, and the color will be, let's say I'll make it fuchsia. No, अभी भी मैंने save नहीं किया है. Now my question is, which one will ultimately be applied? Yatin, what is the problem?
हेलो सर।
Go ahead, Yatin.
हेलो। हाँ
you
सर,
tell.
मेरा जो VS कोड में जो ऑनलाइन
हाँ.
जो होता है ना सर्वर, वो हो
हाँ.
नहीं रहा है सर, वो हो नहीं रहा है।
प्रॉब्लम क्या दिखा रहा है?
एक मिनट।
हाँ.
वो जो प्रॉब्लम मतलब जो हम रन करते हैं ना, तब वो रन नहीं हो रहा है।
नहीं, आपने ये एक्सटेंशन
वहां
डाउनलोड
पर
किया
है
है ना?
ना।
लाइव सर्वर
हाँ,
आपने
वो लाइव
इंस्टॉल किया
सर्वर
है ना?
किया है सर, लेकिन
हाँ.
कांट
हाँ.
रीच दिस पेज जैसे आ रहा है सर, वो जब मैं कर रहा हूँ तब, मतलब लाइव गो ऑनलाइन कर रहा हूँ तब।
नहीं, आप एक बार देखो, यही वर्जन है ना? 5.7.4 यही है
हाँ
क्या? देखो एक बार.
हाँ, यही है सर, यही है।
यही है ना? तो इसके बाद आप इंडेक्स एचटीएमएल में जाके आपने यही किया है ना? कमेंट पैलेट में जाके लाइव सर्वर एंड ओपन विद लाइव सर्वर करना, यही किया ना आपने?
हाँ हाँ हाँ, ये नहीं किया है सर मैंने, मतलब ये जो
हाँ,
आपने
यही
दिखाया ना,
करना है
वो
ना
नहीं किया
फिर.
है।
यही करना है ना फिर,
वो
वही
किस में
बोल रहा
जाना है
हूँ.
सर?
हाँ. तो क्या करना है आपको? सी देयर आर 2 थिंग्स. एक तो यहाँ पर नीचे आपको गो लाइव बोल के दिखेगा. अगर वो नहीं दिख रहा
हाँ
है,
हाँ।
then go to view,
हम्म।
go to command palette.
यस यस।
ओके. यहाँ पर जाके आप
ओके।
सर्च करो लाइव सर्वर बोल के, आप सर्च करो लाइव सर्वर बोल के, सर्च करो, और यहाँ पर मिलेगा आपको ओपन विथ लाइव सर्वर.
हाँ, ये सर मेरे नीचे जो है ना, वो एक कोने में वो वहां पर गो लाइव करके आ रहा है, और मैं राइट क्लिक
हाँ.
करके जा रहा हूँ
राइट
लाइव
क्लिक नहीं,
सर्वर
हाँ राइट
ओपन
क्लिक
विद
नहीं,
लाइव।
डायरेक्टली जस्ट नॉर्मल क्लिक कर, लेफ्ट क्लिक करो, ओपन हो जाएगा यहाँ पर बस.
ओके 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 ओके,
हो रहा है क्या?
चलेगा।
देखो अभी.
ठीक है सर, मैं ट्राई करके देख रहा हूँ सर, मैं अभी मोबाइल पर
ठीक
देख रहा
है.
हूँ, पीसी चालू कर रहा हूँ।
हाँ ठीक है, ठीक. मोबाइल पे नहीं चलेगा, इसके बाद चेक करो, ठीक है.
हाँ हाँ, नहीं मतलब पीसी में ही कर रहा था सर मैं, लेकिन अभी मोबाइल से देख रहा हूँ मैं लेक्चर।
अच्छा अच्छा, ओके ओके, नो प्रॉब्लम, ठीक है. मैं कंटिन्यू करता हूँ अभी, अगर कुछ प्रॉब्लम है तो मुझे फिर से बताना, ठीक है?
ओके, ओ यस सर, यस।
ओके, थैंक्स। ऑलराइट, सो हाँ, मेरा क्वेश्चन ये था कि अभी तक मैंने सेव नहीं किया है, तो हमें पता नहीं कि what color this element will get. Now my question to you guys is, which which one of this will ultimately be applied? Ultimately, say all of these selectors, they are selecting the same element, which is this h1 element, right? Like I'm selecting h1 directly here. I'm selecting the same h1 using the class and using the id right here and here. Like in which one of these will ultimately be applied? Like will the color be red, or will the color be green, or will the color be this? What? Huh. Uh, why is it fuchsia? Pranjal, why? Okay, why is it the last one? Is it just because? Is it at the very end? Last में इसलिए है क्या? हाँ, तो एक काम करेंगे. First, I will save this, okay? हाँ, तो अभी के लिए you guys are right. अब ये पिंक आ गया है, लेकिन अब मैं क्या करूंगा? I will take this. I'll put it at the very top, like this. अभी मैंने सेव नहीं किया है, ठीक है? लेकिन अब जब मैं सेव करता हूं, सेव करने के बाद भी the color is still this only and not green. What if I again, let's say I put this here? अभी अभी भी इसका कलर यही है, which means in this case the order doesn't matter. हाँ, तो that doesn't matter, Pranjal. Like the HTML page में एक ही है ना ID anyway, so it doesn't really matter. अगर ID, like the element चाहे wherever it can exist on the HTML page, what will apply, that will not be decided by where the element is. That will be decided by where the styles are. ठीक है? So guys, just give me 1 second. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. So this is why we need to learn some rules. In this case, what is the rule? Like इसका color क्यों dominate कर रहा है इन दोनों के ऊपर? Why is this winning? What happens if I remove the ID? अगर मैं ID निकाल देता हूँ, if I have this class and h1, why is the class winning? And even if I place the class at the top here, like this, it doesn't matter. In this case, also the class will only win. Why is that the case? Now let's say again I have, like, let's say I'm targeting like h1 like this, and next I'll target h1 dot 1, because this dot 1 is just the class. Okay, so if I add the color of green, we'll see green again. Doesn't matter if this is also on the top. Okay, by the way guys, as I told you, let's talk about this, what I was seeing here. See, like I told you in the last class, मैंने already बताया था, but फिर भी I'm just revising now. See, you can target an element by using a class directly like this. Okay, this is possible. Lekin you can also do stuff like you can also add the element on which you have this class. इसका benefit क्या है? Let's say there are two h1s, or let's say there is one h1 and one paragraph tag. So heading and paragraph. Okay, so you have one heading and you have a paragraph here. The heading and paragraph, both of them have the same class, one. Now if I target without the element, both of them will get the same color. लेकिन मैं चाहता हूं कि only heading को green color आए. I don't want the paragraph to get the green color. In that case, I can be more specific and I can mention the element here, which is like this. When I do this, only the heading which has 1 as the class name will get that color. Okay, only the heading which has the class name of 1, we are targeting that. Now, if we want to target the paragraph with the class name of 1, we can do p.1 and we can see the color will be red. And this with the red color. Okay, you can target like this also. Okay, but ये सिर्फ revision था. लेकिन इससे पहले we were talking about the class and ID and all those things, right? So उसका like what are the rules for that? Like why is the ID dominating? और अगर ID नहीं है तो why is the class dominating? ठीक है? So we'll talk about that. हाँ तो प्रांजल we're going to talk about that now. वही अभी बात करने वाले हैं. वो जो priority है ना, like why is ID winning and then class winning, that is defined by this thing right here, which is CSS ka specificity. Okay, we have some rules which basically determine which selector will ultimately win. Okay, that is determined by the specificity rules of CSS. Okay, we're going to talk about that now. Now, like I said yesterday, we have different kinds of selectors. We have inline styles, where we can directly give the styles here, right? Yesterday we spoke about this. Like let's say we have an element like this, inline style. Now I can add the style attribute and give some the color here. Okay. जब भी मैं ये करता हूं, this element will always get this color. चाहे तुम यहां पर एक style tag add करके इसी p को target करो. Like let's say कि मैं इसको एक class देता हूं. Class is equal to both let's say 3. Okay, no matter what I do here, doesn't matter. Okay, ultimately यही rule जीतेगा because it's an inline style. जब भी आप एक inline style देते हो element को, वही style हमेशा जीतेगा. ठीक है, and क्योंकि हम लोग inline style उतना use नहीं करने वाले, let's ignore that for now. Let's not add it to the specificity का rule. लेकिन आप ये याद रखना कि whenever you are using an inline style on an element, that style will always win. ठीक है, वही हमेशा जीतेगा no matter what. ठीक है, वो याद रखना. Let's just remove this. Okay, ये इतना जरूरत नहीं है. Let's just remove this. Next thing, we have ID selector and we have a class and we have the element. Okay, we have these 3 types of selectors. This is an ID selector, like let's say #2. Okay, this is an ID selector, and we have a class selector like this. And what is an element selector? Element selector is directly like this. This is an element selector. Okay, so this is a class. This is a class. This is an ID. This is an element selector. Now, one more thing is, see, I've not spoken about the comments till now. There is this thing called, okay, you guys have started learning Python, right? So you must be knowing what comments are for, what comments are used for. Now, every programming language will have, you can add some comments in your code, which will not be displayed to the end user, which is not part of the actual logic or the UI, but it is only there for you to like describe what is happening here. Just like how you have, like अगर आपके पास एक textbook है और textbook पे if you see some very complex term जिसका मतलब आपको उतना idea नहीं, you underline that and you add some comment on the top, right? We do the same thing with this comments here. Okay, so comments are basically just used to add some comment in your code, as simple as that. Okay, you can add comments in both HTML as well as CSS. When you go to index.html, the way you add comment here is there is a shortcut basically for VS Code. Okay, and the shortcut is I know it for Mac, लेकिन window का पता नहीं, so I'll just Google the window का thing. So VS Code add comments देखते हैं. Yeah, so it's control and forward slash. Okay, so आप लोग just try this out in your Windows laptop. It's control plus forward slash. When you do that, this thing will get add automatically. ठीक है, यहाँ पर बीच में add whatever comments you want, whatever comment you want. Okay, this is how you create a comment in HTML. Okay, if you, let's say okay, I want to like add some comment here. Below is a style tag. This is a comment. And next is, let's say you can add one more thing here. This is a h1 tag with a class and an ID. Okay, so you can add however many. आपको कोई limit नहीं है. You can add as many comments as you want. ठीक है, there's no issue here at all. Okay. Now, if you want to add the same comments inside your CSS, again, wahi use karo, ye shortcut use karo, and just hit it like this, and here you can add the comments here. Observe that in CSS we are using a forward slash and a star mark, star and forward slash here. Like in HTML we use this thing, and in Python you must be using the hash. Right, so JavaScript में कुछ और होगा. Basically, every programming language will have its own way to create the comments. Okay, now let's go ahead and add some comments here. I'll say this is an ID selector, and this is a class selector, and this is a element or type selector. Okay, यहाँ तक you guys know everything. Okay, now let's talk about the specificity rules. अब इसका there is kind of a formula, not really a formula, but remember कि you have 0, 0, 0 to begin with. Okay, so हर somebody is not on mute. The way we'll talk about this is, see, हम लोग क्या करेंगे कि हर एक सेलेक्टर को हम एक स्कोर देंगे, जिसका भी स्कोर सबसे हाईएस्ट निकला है वही जीतेगा. ठीक है, as simple as that. So every element will get a score. Imagine कि एक गेम चल रहा है और इस गेम में ये तीनों पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं. ठीक है, जिसको भी हाईएस्ट स्कोर मिलेगा वही जीतेगा और वही सर अप्लाई होगा, बस. As simple as that. Okay, now the score will start, and see every element का score शुरू होगा 0, 0, 0 से. Let's make it 0, 0, 0. Okay, just think like that. Now ये ID जो है ये फर्स्ट वाला है और क्लास यहाँ पर है और एलिमेंट लास्ट वाला है. Okay, let's make it more, let's give it more spaces so that I can do this. और क्लास यहाँ पर ऐड करेंगे. Okay, this is how it look. Now, whenever a selector has an ID, you add 1 to it. ठीक है, and if the selector has a class, अगर एक क्लास है तो you'll add 1 here. अगर 2 क्लास है तो you'll add 2 here. अगर 3 है तो you'll add 3. Okay, and similarly, let's say कि there is 1 element, then you'll add 1, and the final score will be whatever you get after removing the comma. तो comma निकालने के बाद जो भी मिलेगा आपको वही final score होगा. In this case, the final score will be 1, 1, 1. Okay, let's look at this with an example now. Okay, let's start with this. ये देखते हैं. अभी इसका the initial score will be 0, 0, 0, right? लेकिन let's see, this is an element, right? Which means ये 0 होगा, ये 0 होगा, लेकिन लास्ट का जो 0 है वो 1 बन जाएगा. right? Because it's id and class and element. तो id कुछ नहीं तो 0 होगा and class कुछ नहीं तो वो भी 0 होगा, because we have one element that will be 1 here, which means the ultimate answer or the ultimate score of this element is 1. okay, तो इसका स्कोर बन गया है 1, because 0 0 निकाल देते हैं बस. Let's look at this now. इसका बताओ guys, what do you think? So Rajendra says 0 1 0, that is correct answer. See, so initially it will be 0 0 0. We get 0 0 and 0 here. हाँ, तो अभी ऑब्जर्व करो, there is no id, तो वो 0 ही होगा. Because we have one class यहाँ पर, this will become 1. But because there are no elements कुछ नहीं, तो it will become still 0. Which means what will be the ultimate? अभी score क्या होगा? It will be 10. Right? Guys, any questions? What about the others? Any questions? Okay, cool. Okay. Now let's talk about this ID selector. तो ID का क्या होगा? 0 0 0, so we'll start. Because there is one ID, इसका value होगा 1. Because there is no class, ये होगा 0. Because there is no element, ये भी होगा 0. And ultimately the value, the score will be 100. अभी आप लोग बताओ, सी इसका स्कोर जो है वो 100 है, इसका स्कोर जो है वो 10 है, और इसका स्कोर जो है वो 1 है. Which one will win? Which is the highest score? 100, right? So इसीलिए this wins always. जब भी आपके पास एक आईडी होता है, उसका वैल्यू हमेशा से it will be a lot anyway, right? It will be a very high score anyway. So if you have an ID on an element and if you have an ID on a selector, that will always win. Now we'll give I'll go with one more example. Abhi. Let's say ki, okay, I'll add, let's remove this. मैं एक और class add करता हूँ. Class is 3. Now I'll go here and let's add one more class selector, and let's say .1 and .2, and color will be maybe yellow. Okay. I mean, what is the score for this one, guys? What is the ultimate score for this one? Rajendra, you're wrong, and Mahesh is right. I'll tell you. Okay, we'll start with 0 0 0, like always. Because we don't have any ID, this will remain 0. And Abhi will go to class. How many classes do we have here, guys? We have 2 classes, right? This is one class, and this is a second class. We have 2 classes, which means this will become 2. Right? And then because we have no elements, this will become 0. And the ultimate score will be 20. ठीक है? अभी अगर मैं ये निकाल देता हूं, in this case, which one will win, guys? Which one will ultimately win? There is no ID here, Mahesh. ID में निकाल दिया अभी मैंने. बाकी जो बचे हैं, which one will become? हाँ. So the one that will win ultimately is this, because this has a score of 20, and 20 is greater than 10, and 20 is greater than 1 as well. इसलिए this will win. Now let's say one more example abhi. One more element plus class selector करेंगे. We have h1 ना. Let's do h1 dot 1, and let's add a color of color choose karna both gray. What will be the score of this, guys? इसका स्कोर क्या होगा? 11. Perfect, very good guess. So Mahesh, Pranjal, and Rajinder, all of you are correct. Okay, let's start with 000 again. Because there are no ID, this will still be 0. Because there is one class, this will become 1. And because there is one element, this becomes 1. Ultimately, the score will be what? 11. अभी इन दोनों में से look at this and this, still this will win because इसका score है 20 and इसका score is only 11 and 20 is greater than 11. ठीक है? Now if you actually want to win over this, इससे ज्यादा अगर चाहिए तो we have to either use an ID और एक और class introduce करके वो use करना पड़ेगा. Now we'll go with more examples, Abhi. So I have more examples for you guys. But wait, let me open up. Well, let's do this. Let's say कि एक div है जिसका नाम है container और इसके अंदर you will have one UL with a class of list and an ID of example, and उसके अंदर we'll have 3 LIs, first item and second item and third item. Okay, so we have a div with the class of container and we have all of these things. Let's give each one of this a class of item. Wait, I have to lowercase this. Okay, so we have this now. Now I want to target the LI items, but multiple ways I'll target it. Okay, so first I will target. See, ultimately मुझे क्या चाहिए? I want to target these LI items. I can target them multiple ways, right? बहुत सारे तरीके हैं इसको टारगेट करने के लिए. We'll target with this first. Let's say UL can जो LI है, the color will be green. Okay? मैं क्या बोल रहा कि UL के अंदर जो LI है उसको. Now guys, what is this combinator called? We spoke about this here, yes, yesterday. What is DES, Mahesh? What is the full form? Guys, what is this? What is this called? It's called a descendant selector. Okay, what is a descendant? मैं एक्सप्लेन किया था ना, इसका ये सारे descendants है, ये जो है इसका all of these are the descendants, and if you look at this, इसका जो descendants है ये सारे लोग हैं और इसका जो है ये सारे लोग हैं. ठीक है? That's a descendant. Now what is the score for this? Rajinder is correct. What about the others? Mahesh, you're wrong. Look at the number of elements. Pranjal is correct. So basically, see, let's start with 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Because there are no IDs, ये 0 ही होगा. Because there are no classes, ये भी 0 होगा. Because there are two elements, दो element है यहाँ पर, we'll have 2 as the score, and score will be 2. Now let's go with the other one, which is dot list के अंदर जो dot item है, डॉट लिस्ट के अंदर जो डॉट आइटम्स है उसको टारगेट, लेट्स से रेड. What will be the score for this, guys?
नेट चालू ना माझं आता ओपन केलं.
Rohit, you're on unmute. Are you telling me the answer or? Okay. And the answer is 20. That's correct. 0 0 0 से start करेंगे. 0 0 0. And because there are no IDs, ये 0 रहेगा. Because there are two classes, this will become 2. And because there are no elements, this will become 0. So ultimately the answer will be 20. Let's go with one more example. Let's say कि जो container के अंदर जो UL है उसके अंदर जो item है. Okay. Okay. So basically we're targeting जो container के अंदर जो UL है और उसके अंदर जो item है उसको targeting. What is score for this, guys? Perfect. Very good, guys. Very good, Rajendra and Pranjal. So 0 0 0 again. And because there are no IDs, this will become 0. And because there are two classes, ये एक class हुआ और ये एक class हुआ. Because we have two classes, this will become 2. And because we have only one element, this will become 1. And the answer will be 21. So इन दोनों में से और इन तीनों में से which one will win, guys? Which will win ultimately? 21 will win. Okay. Let's go with one more. Example or li. Example जो है ये है ID. So we're targeting the same element again. Let's say the color will be blue. Iska, what is the score, guys? So 101 does correct answer, both Raj and Pan. So start from 0 0 0. Because we have one ID, it will be 1. Because we have no classes, this will not have any value, and this will have 1. Ultimately, the answer is 101. Okay. इसीलिए like I told you, अगर आपके selector में if we have one ID, that will always win. Rajinder, doesn't matter if you use the child selector or not, the formula will still be the same. Okay. Okay, now that was about good question. So universal selector ka, let me think. I think that will have the least preference hoga uska. Let's say color will be, let's say a color dete hain, golden dete hain isko. Let's look at the example. हाँ, तो इसका सबसे least होगा basically. See, इसका जो specificity है is 0 0 0. Okay, so by default the score is 0 because there is no class, no ID, no element. It will be 0 by default. And actually, if you hover over something, VS Code will tell you what is the score यहाँ पर 101 बोल के बता रहा है VS Code तुमको already. ये 101 ही मिला हमको और ये 2021 मिला, and we have 20 which we already got, and this is 002 which we already got. But very good question, Pranjal. Basically, whenever you use a universal selector like this, the value will be 0 by default. Okay. Okay. So just remember this very, very important topic, because when you start working in a real project, when you work for a company, वहां पर क्या होगा कि एक ही एलिमेंट को बहुत सारे तरीके से आप टारगेट करके आप वैल्यूज देंगे, आप प्रॉपर्टी ऑफ वैल्यूज देंगे, लेकिन आपको समझना चाहिए कि वाई ए सर्टेन थिंग विंस, ये क्यों विन हो रहा है, वाई इज दिस वन गेटिंग अप्लाइड। सो उसका आंसर यही, इफ यू नो these rules very well, you will know exactly why a certain style is being applied and not the other style is being applied. Okay, okay guys, I think we'll stop the session here because I may have some other work and some other meeting right now. But do you guys have any questions for me? Okay, no questions. Nice talking to you guys. I'll see you next week. Bye bye, have a good weekend.